morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am sleepy. I am suffering from some
You are.
serious jet lag. I was up till 2 last night and finally just forced myself to go to bed and then slept for, I think, about 8 minutes until 7:20 this morning or something. It's pretty brutal. But we're home from vacation, and if my high school English teacher were here, she would be doing this. And I would say, "What is that, Mrs. Gaston?" And she would say, "It's the world's tiniest violin, Dana, playing a sad song just for you." So, yes, how much complaining can one do when one is home from a tropical vacation? Hence the palm tree, coconut, and sun at the end of our welcome at the bottom of the screen. So it's been 2 weeks since Daily Dose. That is hard to believe.
It is.
We thought today that we would share some photos with you and talk about something that I never would have thought of unless Maz had brought it up. Maz, talk a little bit. So, sorry, this is a weird segue. I need somebody with the cue cards so that I'm staying on topic. We're talking about traveling sober when you have not traveled sober previously. So 5 years ago, the first big trip that Maz and I took after he got sober, he came home from the hospital in March, and we went to Hawaii for a conference of yours in June.
Yeah.
And you were nervous about flying. So talk a little bit about that, please, sir.
It truly was, the first time since I was legally old enough to drink that I was going to get on a plane without consuming any alcohol. And it's a long, arduous journey to Hawaii from Fargo, North Dakota.
Let me just insert that the first time we flew internationally was 2002. I'd never taken an international flight at that point, and I didn't realize that little bottles of alcohol were free at the time. They are still on some services, but not on many. So before we even got on the plane in 2002, so we'd been together 13 months at this point, Maz kept saying to me, "Are you going to drink your wine? Are you going to drink your wine?" And I would say, I don't know. He'd say, "Well, I want it if you don't." And we sat down, and you were in the aisle seat. We were in the middle in a thing of 5. Not my recommended way to travel to Europe, by the way. But we're in the first 3 rows, first 3 sections of 5. And I don't think it's an overstatement to say that you were buzzing, not mentally from alcohol, but like physically buzzing with anticipation for the alcohol cart to come by. And I remember looking at you and thinking, "What is the matter with you? It's a bottle of wine." I think you got wine. I don't think you were getting whiskey at the time.
No, I was getting wine.
But if I had wanted it, I would have been out of luck because he was having it. So that was a big piece of travel for us, was this like, ooh, free alcohol on the plane. So that was our past. Then you said to me before we got on the plane to Hawaii, "I'm nervous about this."
Yeah.
And what did we talk about that you remember?
You just kept telling me it'll be fine. We could get out and walk around the cabin, look out the window, just keep occupied, and yet that you'd walk around the plane with me.
I brought us a lot of treats.
Yeah.
Treats are a really important part of the Del Val Mary household. Emphasis on Del Val. But we also, and you have talked about this numerous times, but we also, and by we, I guess I mean you, had a plan in place. Well, what happens if the alcohol cart goes by and I'm tempted to buy a drink? What's plan A, plan B, plan C?
Or D, E, and F.
Yeah. So that was the concern in 2017. Well, we have now taken, who knows, a dozen international flights since then, or long haul flights since then. Do you even worry about it anymore?
No, doesn't even cross my mind.
Yeah. So some of it is habit. What kinds of habits can you get into that allow you to create new patterns as opposed to the old patterns, which you have?
Yeah, I mean, here's what maybe I do, or most people that panic about something do, is when one panic goes away, another one comes in its place. So the second trip or the third trip we took internationally. So the second one was to England, just to see some family members and some old friends. And that was a breeze because I'd already been to Hawaii in a plane. I can do England. It's nearer.
Yeah, amazingly.
Yeah. The third one was when we went to Ireland. And I thought, what the hell are we going to do in Ireland?
That's Ireland, for those of you who heard island.
As in the Republic of, or era.
Yeah.
I thought, what are we going to do in Ireland for 2 weeks? And I thought, how are we going to cope? Because Irish culture's, around bars. So, of course, Irish culture now, it was the first country in Europe to ban smoking in bars. It now embraces non-alcoholic beverages. There is more choice of a non-alcoholic beer or beverage in the Republic of Ireland than I think anywhere else on the planet.
It's shocking and delightful.
So I have no travel worries now at all. The only worry I have is how long the flight's going to be. Just the sheer
just
thing,
the physicality of it. Yes.
Or did we get economy plus with that very, very nice 6 inches extra of leg room that saves your life?
It does make a difference. So I think that, as I said at the beginning, I would never have known this concern because I personally don't like to drink on planes. I'm already tired. I'm already dehydrated. I already can feel a little wobbly if there's what's that called in the air? Turbulence. I don't need alcohol to add to that. So I don't think I've ever had a drink on an airplane, or if I have, it's very, very, very infrequently.
I also did it to fall asleep. Well, I did it to have enough alcohol in me to drink to fall asleep during the flight, and I can fall asleep on a plane quite naturally now. So
yeah, we were both asleep.
Yeah, when we left
before we left
Hawaii,
the airport,
because we left at 11 o'clock night local time. We were both asleep before the plane took off.
Yes, which is awesome. I love to not have to deal with all of that.
I woke up to we're coming into land, prepare for landing in 20 minutes. I thought, it's been 5 hours.
Yeah,
what's happening?
That's a really smart way to fly if you can sleep on the plane. I wanted to show you some photos of our trip because A, because Hawaii is beautiful, and B, because there's some important moments in this trip. So this is a sunrise from our little patio in the beautiful place that we stayed on the Kona side. So this is, I think, largely
this is awesome.
Now why Dr. Mary insists on going to Hawaii. So this is our third trip to Hawaii.
That magnificent piece of awesomeness in front of you is a non-alcoholic pina colada.
Yes. So when Dr. Mary says, I like to drink my calories, he doesn't mean it in the way other people do, because what they mean is I like to get drunk and those are my calories. He means it in, I like to drink a tremendous amount of cream of coconut.
Yeah. It's good though.
Oh my gosh. They are good. And Hawaii does them better than almost any place we've ever been.
Betsy Birmingham, who's a friend of ours and
a former guest.
And a former guest. I think she was on New Year's Eve.
In 2021.
She once told me that I'd be amazed how much fun drinks there are for alcoholics to drink. And
without alcohol
for people who don't like alcohol. And she was not kidding.
Yeah, it's true. The world has become a much better, different place. But this drink was available everywhere and nobody batted an eye. Even at the luau where the alcohol was free, I said to the man at the bar, could you make us a non-alcoholic pina colada? Didn't even bat an eye, which is lovely.
Another thing is, and Quinn told us this because Quinn used to have a job as a
bartender.
As a lot of places, and I noticed this in Hawaii, they put the non-alcoholic drinks in a different glass, so there's even less chance of messing it up, which I think is lovely. It makes you My big concern is if there's something that you can get non-alcoholic, but if there's a non-alcoholic beer, sometimes I just get that because then I am absolutely sure it's non-alcoholic. But this different glass thing and the fact that you just trust the bar person is it's a good way forward.
Absolutely. And when you're concerned, I
Yeah.
always try it for you just
You
to
do.
make sure. So beautiful water, black sand beach. This is on the Hilo side. This was our most incredible day. This was at the Botanic Garden. Felt kind of like we were in Jurassic Park, and it was so beautiful. We went back twice. Sunset. Tough to beat the sunset over the ocean. And, you know, in Hawaii, you have about 4 minutes to catch the sunset, and then it's gone.
It doesn't muck a bell.
Nope. Here, okay, so I put this picture in because we were lucky enough to get to travel with Quinn and his girlfriend for part of the trip. But you can see Quinn's got, it's hard to tell in this picture because I didn't want to cut their heads off. But this is Quinn's drink in a Hawaiian, or in a pineapple. And then you can see the umbrella, which is in Maz's non-alcoholic drink. Quinn's drink was decidedly full of alcohol and about 710 other things. It was like a party in a pineapple. But I put this picture in because I can't speak for every household. I know that there are definitely households where for the alcoholic to stay sober, he or she requests that other people not have alcohol around them, which I honor and respect. But in our case, that is not the case. And so Quinn was able to enjoy Mai Tais and this pineapple concoction alongside Maz drinking a non-alcoholic drink. And it just meant that everybody got to celebrate Hawaii the way they chose to and wanted to. And that was really lovely.
It certainly was.
And I appreciate that aspect of your sobriety a lot. Although if I had to give up alcohol to keep you sober, I would certainly do that. Here, okay. So this is, I put this picture in because it's a little bit hard to tell from the perspective, but we are, what do you suppose, 500 feet up?
Probably more than that.
Okay, let's say 750 feet up from this beach, which we walked down to on a path. And I will use path very loosely because we did not have, swords and knives cutting the foliage in front of us, but it was,
should have.
Yes. So the reason that I am posting this picture is because Maz Mary could never have made this trip as a serious drinker because he fell walking upstairs. And I don't mean up the stairs. I mean on the main floor of our house. His agility was shot towards the end of his drinking period. And this is the kind of path where many times it said things like extreme cliffs, falling rock, walk at your own peril. I was terrified of this walk, and we were both absolutely sober.
Yeah.
We never could have done this trip had Maz been drinking as heavily as he was drinking in the last 3 or 4 years.
I think the state of Hawaii has a completely definition of the term hiking because, in North Dakota, there are hiking paths, which is just like walking down the street. Here, you walk down like
just like this.
It's a 1.5 mile hike down to the volcano.
Oh, here, I'm getting to that. Here's us at the Botanic Garden. Here's us at the volcano.
Yeah, that's a 1.5 mile descent on a slope to the volcano floor.
Unpaved.
And that's a 4 mile walk across it.
Yeah. Maz couldn't have done any of that. I wasn't sure I could do it as a sober person. So it's another perk is that you get to enjoy the beauty of nature and where you are in a healthy present state.
And here's a pointer for you. Go back one turn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's someone who is enjoying 5 years of continued sobriety and his wife standing next to a load of ferns, because I am a plant biologist. We
had to point out a lot of science
the
on this trip.
Plants that survived the extinction of the dinosaurs, standing on a place on Earth where the Earth's crust is thinnest, and we're just enjoying ourselves being able to get there.
Yes, and I would say that when you were drinking, had we been able to get down there, we would have had to end that walk with a drink.
Yeah, probably quite a few because it was a hell of a walk.
Yeah, it was kind of.
But no, we were just there, and then we walked back, and it was totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So this is our last night. This is another pina colada. This is a ginger lemon drink,
Both of these are
non-alcoholic that I had because I often order non-alcoholic drinks because they're spectacular and
Thank you again,
they're
Betsy
cheaper.
Birmingham.
Yes, thank you again, Betsy Birmingham, for many, many things. But these drinks were really fun. They come in fun glasses. And if you're self-conscious about not drinking, who would guess that there's no alcohol in either one of these drinks? So I think bars do a really nice job. You know, they don't put it in the plastic kid cup with the sippy top. They just put it in a cup. Nobody would know that this isn't an alcoholic drink. And then finally, this might be the best picture I took. This is the final sunset on our final night there. Was pretty fabulous trip, all in all, but largely fabulous because Maz was and continues to be sober. So if you have travel plans coming up, because we can again, and if you're concerned about drinking, do you have any tips for anybody who's worried?
If you've been to rehab recently, or if you remember being in rehab and it's been so far successful, but you're still worried, just remember what you learned in, the breathing exercises. If you learned those, one of the big things is every day you fill in this form about how you're going to do better today, and it's work on your communication. Talk to if you're traveling with someone, tell them that you're feeling nervous. They can help. If you're traveling with someone you trust, tell them.
Yeah,
they can help. Just really, as Dr. Sandra McCutcheon, one of our guests, pointed out to me, that when I said I say, meditate in the loosest possible terms, I just took a breath, and she pointed out that is the first and original way to meditate, is to just breathe, hold it, and let it out. You do weirdly feel slightly better if you can think, all right, I can do this. Let's take another one.
Yeah. And that's great advice for all of us.
Yeah.
So we're a couple minutes over. Sorry about that. Thanks for being patient in the 2 weeks that we were gone.
2 weeks.
And we're back now and at it. We have a great guest joining us on Thursday, a woman who I met through the retreat work that I do, but who actually came to us through Daily Dose. So it's sort of a fun circular story how we know Michelle Davis. But we'll be on Thursday morning live at 8:30. We hope to see you then.
See you then.
Like and comment if you are so inclined. Have an excellent day. Enjoy the spring weather. Bye.